So first of all, there are many versions of this worksheet with different pictures, and you'll get one that is appropriate to your skill level. So the directions are at the top. You're going to draw a 1-inch grid like you see exactly happening, already printed on the picture in your empty box on the right. You need to use a pencil for that. You'll need to use a ruler for that. Later on, we may even use a pen, depending on what you choose to do. And then your job would be to use those boxes to copy what you see to the best of your ability. Notice you can even get extra credit if you take the extra time to go in and color your drawing. That could help make up for any mistakes that you make in your drawing or ugly things you want to hide and distract me from. You should always color. So, with your ruler, please make sure you can locate the inch side. It says inches on it, not the side that goes from 0 to 30, that's centimeters. With your inches side of your ruler, you should be able to notice that the width of this picture, starting at 0, which is not the end of the plastic, it's the line by the 0, is exactly 4 inches wide. And if you turn your ruler and measure from the top to the bottom, it's exactly 5 inches tall. And each of these lines pre-printed on there line up exactly at those long 1-inch marks. This ruler doesn't have a number 2 because there's a brand name there. So I like to say it's the P in products for your number 2, but it's a longer line than all the others. I would suggest you start with doing your horizontal side-to-side lines, because you can check yourself using the pre-printed lines on the grid. So to do that, line up the line by the 0 on your ruler at the top of the box, double check that the 5 matches with the bottom, and make a small short little hash mark or tick mark or whatever you want to call it at the 1, the P in products, which is your 2, 3, and 4. You don't have to mark 5 and you don't have to mark 0. Then you never ever 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 try to make a straight line from one mark. Always make 2. So slide your ruler over to the right hand side and do the same thing. Mark 1, mark the P in products, 3, and 4. Now you can turn your ruler 90 degrees, line it up so that both marks are on the same edge of the ruler. It should also line up with the line that's happening on your SpongeBob picture. That tells you did it right. Draw your line right across the page. If you're not sure, draw it lightly. But if you're confident, you can draw it dark to make sure that it stays. Don't just trace off these lines on the SpongeBob picture, because then you still don't know how to use your ruler, which is the most important part of this worksheet. Because now we have to turn and make these vertical lines. And there is nothing that you can cheat off of. So hopefully you understood what you did the first time around. So these vertical lines, you need to measure across the top and the bottom of your page. With 0 on the left edge, 4 should be on the right edge, mark at 1, 2, which is your P in products, and 3 at the top. And you never, ever, 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 ever try to make a straight line with just one mark. So put your ruler near the bottom and do the same thing. 1, 2, and 3. Now you can turn your ruler and connect those marks by making a straight line, holding that ruler steady with your left hand if you're a righty, writing with your right hand, so you have a nice straight even line. Everything should be a square. If you have rectangles, triangles, any other shape on your worksheet, you've messed up. So you need to erase and start again. Before you start drawing, some people choose to use a pen and trace over their grid lines so that when they draw SpongeBob and need to erase and correct SpongeBob, that they don't mess up their grid lines. If you ever want to erase your grid lines so it looks like you didn't need them to draw SpongeBob, well then of course don't make them permanent. But if you would like to be confident that they won't disappear on you as you're doing your work and trying to get SpongeBob's glasses just right, then go ahead and trace them with pen so you don't have to worry about redrawing or remeasuring for your grid lines. That's your choice. On this worksheet, I do not care. On future assignments, I may care. These boxes are supposed to help you copy everything carefully. Start with something easy, not SpongeBob, on an edge that you can start planning things out. Pay attention to where it begins and ends, like this little lump here, and start drawing it exactly as you see it happening in the other box. What I'm grading for is that everything ends up in the right box in about the right spot. However, we're humans, we're not robots, so there will be imperfections, and I'm not going to search for your imperfections to try to take off points. But if they're glaringly obvious, then I will definitely take off points. So when you make mistakes, go back and fix them. That is the essence of learning how to draw. Is you make mistakes, you notice them, and you go back, you find out what's wrong, and you fix it. If you don't ever fix those mistakes, then you haven't learned anything from them. So work your way through the whole drawing, box by box. Some are going to be easy. This one in the top left-hand corner has absolutely nothing, so I have one box done already out of 20. And some boxes are a lot more complicated. But again, leave the complicated ones for the very end until you have a little more confidence from doing the easier ones.